Oh, Canada, what a great country. It even sounds better when it is set from an immigrant's perspective. Those who have had the opportunity to be in other countries will certainly appreciate this wonderful land we call Canada. My name is Pedro Quintana, and I was born in Santa Clara, Cuba in 1972. For my family musically inclined, I began taking music lessons at age 13. As a late beginner, I was told that in order to be accepted in the National School of Music in Havana, Cuba, I had to do 2 years, I had to do in only 2 years the work of 7. This challenging task became my priority, and after 2 years of hard work and several music teachers, I was accepted in that wonderful school from where I graduated in 1991 at age 18. In that same year, Cuba entered the worst economic downturns in its history, after losing its strongest support, Russia. Those were days of uncertainty and despair, and for me returning home to work and support my parents was most fair. Once back in my hometown, I was hired as a teacher. I completed my 2 years of social work to pay for my education. Then I began working in a resort area, first in a band in a show company, then in a jazz quartet, until I finally reached the soloist position in a piano bar. In a hotel where there was a doctor and a pilot working as bartenders, as well as a gardener with an engineering degree. I used to work 6 days a week from 8 to 2 a.m. in the morning. The light came to me when I met the Canadian lady who had come to visit Cuba. Her name, Marcy Walker. We both connected right away through music. We trusted each other with love. We both grew in a relationship through emails and many trips she made to Cuba in just 1 year. We were married at a beautiful park overlooking the ocean in the year 2000. We chose Canada a perfect place to call home, and Cuba a good place to have for retirement later on in life. Canada obviously offered us a great deal of work opportunities. We flew together to Canada for the first time on February 16, 2001. Once in Canada, my first contact experience with Canadians was wonderful. At the airport, everyone was very friendly and helpful. I was given all the information that any immigrant would want, from how to continue education to the step-by-step process of how to find a job. That day was beautiful, it was snowing, it was cold. I had never seen snow, and while we were driving from Toronto on our way to Grand Bend, our final destinations, we stopped at Tim Hortons for my first Canadian coffee opportunity. I remember getting out of the car, taking the snow in my hands, realizing then what it really was. Coming into Grand Bend was also spatial. I walked into a beautiful home bigger than I had ever seen. And I was also welcomed by good neighbors with balloons and a big sign that read, "Welcome to Canada." Grand Bend as a tourist destination gave me the idea of renting the lower portion of our house to create a source of income. But before that, it needed to be renovated. I worked all winter long on this task, learning about new ways of building and fixing. I discovered Home Depot, my favorite store. By the beginning of that summer, we were ready to rent and had our first guest. I took my first job as a dishwasher and I rode my bike to work, since I had no driver's license or a car. In the fall, I was offered the opportunity to open a piano bar in Grand Bend. I took my first students, and I also began working on a farm until I was able to get my driver's license and own my very first car, a 1995 Dodge Caravan. I took my first job in the church as a pianist, and I discovered the Canadian Christian community, and I continued to fulfill my love for God. I wanted to learn how to play the organ, and I bought the church organ, as for some reason it had been abandoned and left in the dust. I found an organ teacher and I began taking lessons. Later on I was accepted with my first job as a music director and an organist. I became a Canadian citizen, and today Canada is home for me. I continue to teach, learn, and I'm proud of the opportunities that God has given me to be better and reach goals in life. I perceive that one of the many things we're blessed in Canada is having all seasons, from the beautiful flowers in the spring to warm summers, to the change of leaves in the fall, to Christmas time in the winter. This last one, my very favorite one, when everyone shares God's love abundantly. My wife and I have just celebrated our 12th anniversary, and together we have both fought through a lot. We survived her breast cancer diagnosis in 2005. We have overcome many barriers, from the language to new cultural and social traditions. We also continue to grow in love and in God. I encourage new generations to stop and appreciate Canada and the opportunities they have in this country. I thank God for Cuba and Canada. I finally give you thanks for letting me share this experience with you.